Rounds 2 and 3 of the 2024 ABB FIA Formula E World Championship brings us back to Saudi Arabia. We're in Diriyah on the street circuit at the UNESCO World Heritage Site for rounds 2 and 3, the double in Diriyah. The track is very challenging as well. It is a total of 2.495 kilometres, a start and finish line offset here as well. From turn 5 all the way down to turn 14, it's almost like you're running a bobsleigh. Single file downhill, very limited overtaking zones. The attack mode activation's on the outside of turn 19. Turn 18 is the first corner on the track when the lights go out. It's going to be a very interesting EPrix here. 2 races under the lights. Hello everybody and welcome to round 3 of the ABB FIA Formula E World Championship here from Saudi Arabia. It's the Diriyah EPrix and we can't wait to get started. It's the start of a mammoth broadcast here on JB Motorsports because as soon as we're done here, we're crossing over for coverage of the Rolex 24 Hours at Daytona. So it's a big schedule, it's a big day, and hopefully we're all going to stay awake just enough in time to be ready for it all. Alongside me in the commentary box for this race is Josh T, our pit reporter, now moving up into the commentary box. Josh, it was a great qualifying. It's put Roland on pole, Frines in second, but Sebastian Buemi crashing in qualifying. He won't take part in this race today. Another blow after a high in Mexico. It's just downhill in Diriyah.
Yeah, absolutely. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the broadcast. Well, Sebastian Buemi, we said he may be able to get back out. I was a little bit hesitant about it, and, well, he is unable to get into the car to race.
It's going to be a very interesting weekend. Let's go down to Nikki. She's on the grid with Robin Frines and Andre Lotterer.
You're kind of back home with Envision. It was one of the first teams that you raced for in Formula E. Talk us through how you're feeling.
Feeling pretty good, especially we had a tough day yesterday and we saw that overtaking was very difficult yesterday and now it's a lap less, so all eyes on qualifying and we pulled one out of the bag and we're starting P2, so great feeling.
One out of the bag. It's pure talent, Robin. Pure talent, Andre.
Are you happy I'm not on the track anymore?
Well, I always like to fight Andre, but we fight each other in WEC, so looking forward.
Yeah. Are you confident about your strategy? We saw yesterday it's difficult to overtake,
yeah.
So how are you going to attack with the attack mode? Do you think you can do the overcut like Jake did, for example? Yeah, I mean, the Porsche powertrain is always very quick in the races. Now I'm fighting a Nissan and a Jag, actually, with Cassidy. Yeah, normally Nissan is a bit down on energy compared to us, but still, Roland does a very good job, so I can't say anything else about that. But the track is getting quicker. It's been 3 seconds quicker than yesterday, so the energy consumption will play a role more than yesterday, I believe. Even with a lap less? It will be close, I would say. So okay. Maybe.
But we've never seen in Formula E so many drivers finish the race yesterday with so much energy in the tank.
Yeah, true. I mean, I was stuck behind Zed and he was low in energy and you just cannot overtake, so you're under-consuming massively. Now I'm starting in the front. As you see Jeff, he was a bit struggling with energy because he was in the lead, or I wasn't watching the race, but so I think it will be a bit more tricky for the first 4 or 5 people to be under-consuming.
Lovely. Well, we will let you get in the seats. Thank you very much, Robin Frines. Shall we see if we can have a quick wander down and find Stoffel van Dorn? In fact, I can spy him. He's just jumped out of the car. He's putting a jacket on. Excuse me, sir. Thank you very much. Chilly. We're coming for you. Don't run, don't run. See, they don't run from me. They might run from you, Andre. Go on, we've got one question. We've only got time for one. Andre, you take it.
So, how are you feeling for the race? It's a better position than yesterday, obviously. So, I'm sure you're looking forward to score some good points.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think yesterday we had some good pace, but didn't do it in qualifying, so we started a bit further back. Today we start further up, so yeah, I think we just need to conclude it now and score some good points.
Yeah, attack mode is going to be the opportunity for you to go ahead, right?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we saw yesterday with the energy, there's not a huge amount of overtaking on track, so it's more based around pure pace and strategy in the end. So yeah, we need some good calls from the guys, and I need to drive fast.
Brilliant. Well, you're a world champion, so if anyone can do it, you can go, Stoffel van Dorn. JJ, where are you?
Thank you very much, Nikki. Okay, let's find out more about this incredible circuit, shall we, in the capable hands of Karun.
Around this lap here. Turn 1, this is an important left-hander, sets you up, gives you the feeling of what grip you've got underneath you. But then the steering wheel isn't really straight till you get all the way around, pretty much till turn 17. So for me, this is like the mountain at Macau, the mighty Macau circuit, where if you get one corner wrong, it just messes you up for the next complete sequence of corners. The other challenge is that the grip level seems to be changing underneath me. I can feel as this first part of the lap unfolds, certainly coming through 7 and 8, and now through 9, 10, 11, I'm already up to 12. It's got less grip than the earlier part of the lap. It's really quite tricky to put the power down, even in a safety car, let alone in the Formula E cars with much more power. Right. Long right-hander of 17, off camber as well, so the drivers will have to be careful on the exit. You don't want to get too aggressive with the throttle, you'll end up in the wall on the left. The big straight, this is the first bit where you can sort of breathe and relax, but not for long, because you get to the braking zone of 18. Get the nose in. You know, I'm going to try the attack mode. All right. Front right's quite close to the wall. Wow, that is very tricky. I can see why the drivers will lose about a second and a half using attack mode. Kink of 20 into 21, final corner of the lap. This is all about trying to carry momentum and get brave up against the wall on the way out. That looks like a lot of fun. I'm quite jealous of the drivers this weekend, I have to be honest.
Nice and quick, Karun. Didn't have to deal with me in the car this time, did you? Screaming, so you could go fast enough. One of the really fascinating things I think about the Formula E Championship is the kind of like the manufacturer and customer kind of relationship and kind of how that plays out. You want to kind of talk us through a few bits and pieces with it, don't you?
Yeah, listen, it's quite unique because you've got a bunch of manufacturer teams, such as Jaguar, such as DS, such as Mahindra, but they're all obligated to supply a customer team. So, every one of these things we see here up on the graphic, you see Andretti work with Porsche, you see that Mahindra supply Abt, and Nissan, for example, supply McLaren. So there are these relationships. Now, I tell you what, instead of me going on about it, shall I show you?
Please, yeah.
Let's try and show you.
Let's
Okay.
have a look.
Let's get the camera here. Chris, come and have a look at this. So we've got the McLaren here. This is Jake Hughes' McLaren. If we look, basically, Formula E supply the same chassis to everybody. So the aerodynamics are all the same, the tires are all the same, the battery is supplied by the same person. These mechanics and engineers look very skeptical before giving secrets away. But what happens is, behind the battery, that's what is bespoke to each manufacturer and their customers. So the back of the car, where the rear suspension goes, the motor sits over here, and what is effectively the gearbox, but the drivetrain. That is the same on this McLaren as it is a Sasha Fenestra's car, who conveniently is starting right next door with the Nissan. So, it's a very sensible way of trying to keep the cost down, because when you do the development, that's where the big R&D costs are. But you can offset some of that by supplying a customer to try and offset some of your R&D costs.
But it's what's strange to me is you're supplying a customer and creating a competitor at the same time.
Well, absolutely, but you can also have a collaborative effort with that customer, and you can share data, so you've got 4 cars instead of 2, and you can all work together. But then, of course, the engineers' egos get involved, and they're like, well, we're not running their setup. Yeah. Even when they're up the front of the field, and you might be at the back. So you've really got to work together, and it comes back to that word we talked about earlier with the Jaguar guys. Trust.
But they can beat you sometimes as well. Was it Envision that beat Jaguar last year in the Drivers' Championship?
And actually, to me, that actually underlines what a good job Jaguar do as a provider of the hardware, right? It means that they're providing equal equipment to their customer. Customer beats them, but actually that's a credit to the Jaguar engineers.
Oh, you know, I'm learning more and more every week, Karun. Thank you very much. Well, let's go and find Nikki for, you know, some more stories, shall we?
Thanks, JJ. Yeah, we're hanging out here at pole position, waiting for the return of Oliver Rowland. All the drivers are doing a photo at the front at the moment, but hopefully we'll catch them in a moment. Andre, you obviously know these drivers better than anyone. You know them well on the track, but also off the track as well. I think Formula E is quite unique, how things like we have a shared team and crew, all the drivers eat together, which is quite unusual compared to the likes of Formula One, for example. What is Oliver Rowland like on and off track?
He's a super nice guy, very funny as well. And yeah, in Formula E it's very cool. We are all on a WhatsApp group chat. We send each other jokes, and it's very unique in this championship. The camaraderie is really awesome. But yeah, Oliver, he can be very reckless and very brave sometimes. So you know, when you race with him, it's a tough cookie. But he's also very fair, you know. And if he does something a bit wrong, he'll be the first one to come to you and apologize.
Wow, I mean, that doesn't happen well, that often in Formula E. He also is an amazing defender. I always think he seems to drive the car like it's particularly wide.
Yeah, in Formula E we all do pretty much, you know. I can speak of myself that I like to defend as well, and but you know, you got to do what you got to do out there, and then sometimes, you know, we push the limits a bit too much, and you know, the walls are not far, so we'll see how he'll do it today. You know, he's starting in pole position, and I'm sure he wants to keep that position.
Yeah, absolutely. How do you think it's going to play out with Robin Freins just behind? You know, having said that, actually, Robin is also a pretty aggressive driver as well. So the two of them together might get a little bit too close for comfort.
Definitely goes for it as well, but he hasn't scored many points or 0 points in Mexico, so for sure he wants to score some good points today. Let's see. Overtaking difficult here, as we saw yesterday. Only Mitch Evans had real go. Maybe he is going to try in 2018 as well. For sure he will. I know him, and if he sees the opportunity, he'll go for it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was really interesting to hear what we were talking about earlier, that actually maybe we won't have a flat-out race that we thought we would have.
Yeah, it's a lap less today, but the track is faster, a few seconds faster, so meaning there's more throttle application and more consumption, so hopefully there'll be a bit more of lift and coast in 2018, so that creates overtaking opportunity.
Brilliant. Well, we thought Oliver Rowland would come. He has not, but we will continue to persist. JJ, back to you.
Thank you very much. Nikki, well, as you can see, the lights are on, the sun is set, and these drivers are ready to get going. The atmosphere is really building on the grid. It's busy. It's going to be absolutely empty in a minute as these drivers are ready to go. So we are entering the ceremonial element of proceedings and welcoming the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, Mohammed bin Salman, to the grid. And we're about to hear the national anthem.
And it's at this point that we actually get to honour Ed Hunter, who's our commentator, who isn't with us this weekend in the commentary box in protest of Saudi Arabia's atrocious human rights record. And with that, we're not going to hear the national anthem of Saudi Arabia as well. So that just a little bit of solidarity there with Ed, who has chosen not to commentate this weekend up in the commentary box. Instead, what we are going to do, Josh T, is take a look at the grid, because it is a fascinating run around. We'll go over to the main screen now. To show it as well, because it's such a great one. We've got Rowland on pole with Freins alongside him, but we've got Verline 10th in the standings. He's our championship leader. Cassidy starts in 3rd. There's only 1 point between them. There is a high chance that we could have a new championship leader. The top 4, of course, separated by 4 points.
Yeah, absolutely, and I expect to have a new championship leader at the end of today. And who will it be? We will have to find out.
My personal bet is Cassidy. Podiums in both 2 races so far. Starts 3rd again today. He starts to have the best opportunity to go forward. Let's take a quick look then at what Formula E is all about and join the world feed with Nikki Shields.
You see in road cars today. We've come a long way since season 1.
Leaps from Blanca. Away he goes.
This season, 11 teams and 22 world-class drivers will go head-to-head, battling it out to become world champion. So how does it work? Ahead of each race, drivers will compete in qualifying, initially separated into 2 groups. They progress through multiple rounds to secure their grid position for the race. Race distance will be measured in laps. The driver who completes the set number of laps in the fastest time wins the race. Lastly, points and rankings. The first 10 finishers score points. First place receives 25 points, all the way down to 1 point for 10th. 3 extra points are awarded to the driver who wins the Julius Baer pole position in qualifying, and 1 extra point is awarded to the driver who achieves the fastest lap. This season will leave you on the edge of your seat all the way to the finish line.
Oh, well, it's nearly time to go racing here in Diriyah for the second race of the double header. These drivers preparing to get ready. We've had some amazing moments on the grid here, Karun. I mean, some of the information you've given us, we've got celebrities in the back. America Port, ex-Manchester City players having a...
Do you play against him?
I didn't play against him, slightly different eras, but he's a lot bigger than I thought he was, actually, I'll tell you.
You can see how little I know about football here.
We're both learning, don't worry about that.
Yeah, listen, tension's building, isn't it? Look, think about these guys here,
Yeah.
right? The Nissan team. It's a big time for them. This is a team sport. Of course, when the lights go out, the individual, the driver is the one that's the most visible. But the pressure on all of them, they got to make sure every bit of this car has been put together properly. They look at all the systems to making sure the battery's at the right temperature, the motor's in the right condition. You know, there's a whole heap of pressure on every one of these people.
Yeah.
Make sure the tires are put on perfectly,
Yeah.
and the pressures are absolutely spot on to the nth degree. And, you know, they've got a car on pole position with a chance to win.
Well, we saw earlier when Jake Dennis was talking about how unhappy he was with the car and just how quickly it can flip. And like you said, Nissan got a real opportunity here to go and get their first win of the season.
And I think having the race being 1 lap shorter is going to benefit them because, you know, we know they've got a great 1 lap speed. They haven't quite got the race pace, we think, on a long run. But having a race that's slightly shorter than yesterday, I think is going to benefit them.
What can you explain just like exactly why? Sorry, is it an energy
No, it's a good
thing? Is it
question.
just because? Why is that?
It's because, you know, you've got X amount of usable energy. They've all got the same 38.3 kilowatts, 38.5 kilowatt hours of usable energy. If you've got to use that over less distance, it helps people who maybe aren't as efficient as Nissan are. So, yeah, I think they're in a good place.
So, do you want people off the grid now? Is that where you're at as a driver?
Well, the lights
is it
have
time
gone
to get
off.
going?
Yeah.
Oh, we've just lost all the lights.
Well, music's going off, lights go off. Yeah, listen, I'm looking around for Oliver Rowland. There's a whole load of stuff going on here. I'll try and get the camera up high to show you. There's a whole load of stuff going on.
I think we're going to have a light show at some point.
But I'm
It's the
looking
light
for
show
Oliver
now,
Rowland
yeah.
In this melee.
Light
and
show time.
He's probably hiding somewhere quiet, just trying to keep his composure.
Karun,
But
this
that is
seems,
exactly what
this
he
seems
needs
like
to
a lot more than usual. I mean, am I
No,
right in
it's the
thinking
same
this
as
is
last
a lot
year.
more packed than usual?
do. I believe the royal family are here today, so
Okay.
it's busier than it was yesterday. I think yes, today, as you can see, the local media are getting very excited because the royal family are here.
So, just to explain, Oliver Rowland, he's on the clean side of the track, I'm guessing, being on pole. Just, will they be setting up the car just to make sure he gets the right launch, or are they, what are these technicians going through right
So
now?
at the end of the practice session, they would have all done practice starts. They would have practiced on both sides of the grid. The clean side is to the left, the dirty side is to the right. And across the weekend, they would have practiced on both sides. They have different maps that they can adjust on the steering wheel based on the grip level. And you know, that basically adjusts the amount of torque that's deposited onto the ground through the rear wheel. So when the driver hits the throttle, you can control the amount of torque and just control the wheel spin. You have to optimize getting the right amount of launch, right amount of power, and not getting too much wheel spin.
Where do you see this race being won and lost?
Listen, I think it's around the attack mode. I think, you know, you've really got to be smart in the way Jake Dennis was yesterday. He made the call in the cockpit. He made the decision and ignored his team, actually, who called him to take the attack mode. You lose about 1.6 seconds. Today, we have to keep one thing in mind. The track would have got cleaned up around the attack mode. It will be less of a loss today than it was yesterday. But the drivers have got to think exactly and try and plan. How much pace have they got in hand to use the attack mode and try and recover that time loss of about 1.5 seconds?
And there are lots of big names, shall we say, in that kind of like mid-section of the grid. Are you expecting to see them work their way through, or
I think we've got a really interesting race. We've got some heavy hitters in the championship. Mitch Evans, the Porsche drivers. You've got Jake Dennis outside the top 10. All of them have got to try and come forward and score points. And therefore, you've got some unfancied people in the top 10 who are going to try and hang on to it. So I think it should be a very good race.
Well, all of them, Karun, have got to catch the man on pole. And that's Oliver Rowland in the Nissan. He's the man to beat, he's the man to catch. And we are just minutes away from the race now. The tension is really building. It's almost time to find out who is going to take home the points from the second race of the doubleheader here in Diriyah.
And we're almost ready to go up here in the commentary box as well. The anticipation rising through. Just to run you through the attack mode options as well, because they were just discussing it over in the commentary with JJ and Karun, but they failed to mention the basics of it as well. So they get 480 seconds total. That is a total of 8 minutes to use. And that also encompasses that you can use it a total of 2 activations, but you can arm it 5 times. And there are 3 different modes of how you take your attack mode, which is at the location of turn 19. You can see it on your driver tracker map. So, in your first activation, you can either choose mode 1, which is 2 minutes in the first activation, and then 6 minutes in the second. Mode 2 is 4 minutes each activation. That's the conservative approach. And then mode 3, 6 minutes in your first navigation and 2 minutes in your second. Now, a total of 8 minutes across. It does lead Josh T to some varied strategy, and we saw yesterday, as Nikki has said earlier on in the pre-show, 1.7 seconds was lost on average to the drivers taking that attack mode. Today, on average, it should only be about a second because it's been cleaned up offline.
Yeah, absolutely, and it should just be around a second, maybe 1.1, 1.2, but we're hoping to be around 1 second loss, which should be interesting, and it does play into the end result of the race. Now,
yesterday's fastest time was Jake Dennis, a 1:11.399 set in the race. The pole time was a 1:10 set as a 0.055, so already faster than what we were expecting. It wasn't quite on pace with last year's pole time from Jake Hughes of a 1:08, but it is getting quicker out there, and the track is just going to start ramping up. So be expecting to see a lot more action. Yesterday, don't forget, if you weren't with us, Dennis won from Vern and Cassidy, second and third, rounding out the podium. Bird was fourth from Evans, Nato, Gunther, Verline, Sete Kamara getting points in the ERT. Robin Friends rounded out the top 10 as well. The only retirement was Sasha Fenestraz after contact on the opening lap, breaking the rear suspension. He did get back out on the track after some repairs, but 8 laps down, they decided to park it after getting some information for the race today. However, there will only be 21 starters, as we said earlier on in the broadcast. If you're just joining us, Sebastian Buemi, who caused the red flag in the Group B qualifying, he had his fastest lap time deleted, did a 1:11.152, didn't get through to the Jules, but also crashed out. Too much damage on that car, which means he will not be racing tonight. And Josh, that's a big disappointment for him after starting so well in Mexico to now have such a disadvantage coming in to Diriyah. Not a great result yesterday, not racing today, and now a month off before Sao Paulo. That's going to play on his mind just a little bit going forward.
Yeah, absolutely. That is definitely going to play on Sebastian Buemi's mind, as you said. Next race is Sao Paulo, 16th of March. Then I believe it's the 30th of March,
Tokyo,
where we go to Tokyo.
36 laps ahead of us, total of 90.41 kilometres. And if we do have added laps, there's a maximum of 7 that gets added to the overall time limit. 80% of the race, if we go to red flag for it not to restart, is lap 28. And we've already mentioned about 3 minutes is when, if we're in a full course yellow or safety car, we start adding time and laps to the race. So we've got our stopwatch. Let's cross over then, ready, and reintroduce, as I believe JJ is going to do an introduction to the commentary.
Well, we're about to get going here in Diriyah for the double header. It really is set up to be a special night of racing. Karun, you're still with me. What I'm thinking is there going to be a dramatic start here or not? Turn 1 seems to be a really lively part of this track.
It is a bit of a pinch point. You know, somewhat uniquely in Formula E, you've got the start happening at a different place to where they're lining up on the grid. The start happens down on the straight before turn 18. They all have to funnel into the chicane at turns 18 and 19. So we do see it at the pinch point. We do see incidents and people losing their front wings. The drivers have all got to be smart. And remember, the race is 36 laps and not just one corner. So, yeah, we'll see how that unfolds. But I feel like there's more potential for a bit of carnage today. Yesterday, we had no safety cars, no incidents, no real crashes. But we've got a much more jumbled up grip today than we had yesterday.
I mean, you can see there the drivers really getting focused, getting into the mode. We've got an incredible drone show going on here. Really special treat that we're getting here in Saudi Arabia. I mean, I think a lot of that looks like one of those old games, don't it? We used to have to kind of like shoot them
Pac-Man.
down. Yeah, Pac-Man type thing. Yeah, it looks great. But no, the element that you keep talking about, this attack mode stuff as well. I mean, a lot of the decisions that were made yesterday that were beneficial were by the drivers and not by the teams.
So attack mode is when the drivers have to go away from the racing line and run across these 3 sensors. They get an extra 50 kilowatts of power, but by running away from the line, they lose about a second and a half. And you have to play that game of when do you use attack mode, when do you accept you're going to lose that second and a half, and how are you going to recover it? So yeah, very tactical stuff.
Andre, you've been up and down the grid speaking to a few of the drivers, looking in their eyes. Did you see anything that you think, when you look at, say, Oliver Rowland, for example, you think it's going to be tough to beat?
Well, I didn't see him, but they all saw how the game happened yesterday, and they're all ready to use the attack mode the best way and to do maybe the undercut or the overcut, and they know the overtaking is difficult, but they also want to score points. So let's see who takes the most of the risk. It'll be a really interesting race.
And if you had to pick a favourite, Karun, right now, who would you go for?
Well, I picked Mitch Evans yesterday and got that wrong.
I'll ask you again, you got another chance.
I'm going to go Nick Cassidy today.
Me
Nick
too.
Cassidy?
I'm picking Nick as well. He's
Well,
really
then I'll
smart.
pick someone else. I'll go Frines. Go on. Just to have a bit of competition. You go on Cassidy, I'll go Frines.
Frines and Cassidy.
Right,
Frines and
I'll
Cassidy.
take
Let's
Roland.
stick with that. Let's see if you can get it
You?
right. I'm going to go with Rowland, yeah. I
Okay.
think he's
We
going to
can't get it
done.
wrong then.
Let's see how it gets on, shall we? Right, the drivers, they're strapped into the cars, will make their way to the grid slots. And I'll now leave you in the hands of our commentary team to talk you through the action, Tom Brooks and Dario Franchitti.
Let's go dueling in the desert. The 2024 Diriyah EPrix is underway. Oh, it's close. Contact. He's hit. Unbelievable. Hughes over the line. Remarkable end. Mitch Evans sliding his way under braking. Third goes through. Fantastic racing under the lights. Dennis takes the victory. Woohoo! Yeah, boy. Oh.
Ready for another round? So are we. It is round 3 of the ABB FIA Formula E World Championship, the 10th season of the all-electric racing series. Diriyah in Saudi Arabia. Riyadh is our location. And we are all set for 36 racing laps. Yesterday, it saw drama right until the end. Yes, Jake Dennis may have had the second largest winning margin in Formula E history, but we had a 3-way fight for the lead for over half the race and a dramatic change in podium positions at the very last corner. With 1 lap less, more energy to play with, we are expecting more of a flat out. Sebastian He doesn't start this race, so at the back row of the grid, it is Antonio Felix da Costa on row 11. Row 10, that sees De Grassi starting 20th, Norman Nato has 19th. Row 9 sees Mortara start 18th alongside Nick de Vries, his highest qualifying with his return to Formula E. 8th row of the grid sees Nico Muller start in 16th position. Dan Ticktum starts in 15th. Row 7 sees Jake Dennis, who was winner yesterday, his worst car in Formula E, said he's 14th. Mitch Evans also down in 13th place. 12th for Sam Bird on row 6 alongside Maximilian Gunther. Fifth row of the grid sees Pascal Wehrlein, championship leader, start 10th. Sergio Sette Camara inside the top 10 once again, this time P9. And then we see on row 4, Jean-Eric Verne starts in 8th with Sacha Fenestras starting in 7th. And then on to the first 3 rows of the grid then as well here in Saudi Arabia, as we have a countdown until we see those positions for some reason here in Diriyah. The 3, 2, 1 with the drone zone. The top 6, as I will explain to you because they're not going through them. Jake Hughes starts in 6th with Johan Drubler starting 5th. Second row of the grid sees Stoffel van Dorn start in 4th position, alongside him Nick Cassidy, who is 1 point off Pascal Wehrlein the championship. Can he get the title lead today? He starts 3rd, the highest of anyone inside the top 4 in the championship. Robin Frein starts in 2nd position after an impressive run in the duels, but it was Oliver Rowland who continued to break the fastest laps of the weekend. He was top of Group B with a 1:10.486. He topped the duels with a 1:10.149. He topped the semi-finals with a 1:10.098, and he topped the final against Freins with a 1:10.055, the fastest time of the weekend so far. He'll lead the field around this Diriyah EPrix circuit as we'll head from the formation lap to the main grid, the dummy to the main as they get across. Nissan back on pole, Josh T alongside me, Joshua Birch in the commentary box, and we are all set to go. Can Rowland take a victory, or is Freins going to do the unthinkable and get a win for the first time in a very long time?
Yeah, hello everybody. I think Rowland could do it, but then Freins could also do it as well. As you can hear, the cars behind Cassidy, the predictor is 42% to win, but going through turn 1 and turn 2 now from the dummy grid up towards the starting grid, and not as a bit of a strange one, as we do kind of get a formation lap. We don't normally get a formation lap in FIA Formula E. It is normally just a burnout as they move forward into their grid places. Let's have a look at the track.
It is a 2.495 kilometre street circuit here in Riyadh, Diriyah, Saudi Arabia. 21 turns in total. Turns 5 to 14 is considered a bobsleigh section. Attack mode though, that's the real crucial one. It's at the exit of turn 19. You can see it on your mode of the track now. And that offline cost you 1.7 seconds yesterday. Wouldn't be any faster. 21 turns in total around this circuit as well. Start line is segregated to the finish. So the start is on the run down from 17 to 18. And the finish line out of turn 21 as well, the last corner on the track. Robin Freins warming up his tyres, despite the fact that we don't have the usual 4 runs to the front with a burn up on the grid. The drivers yesterday were still burning up their tyres in some heat cycles to try and get some temperature in. Sebastian Buemi not taking part in a Formula EPrix, only the 4th time in history he won't be on the lights out. That is very impressive for the Season 2 World Champion. So, go on.
Absolutely, Josh. That is quite impressive.
There we see the back now of the 25 of Jean-Eric Verne. He was pole man yesterday, starts 8th on the grid today. Just knocked out in the first duel against him and Robin Freins. Verne was a 1:11.112, the slowest of any driver in the duels. So how it changed for the 16-time pole sitter in Formula E. He matches that with Sebastian Buemi. Them two were tied for a very long time in this series. Buemi won on a run of poles in season 2 and 3 of this series, back then with the Renault Edams team. Now it is Nissan Edams who've taken over from Renault and Edams back in the day. It's the Nissan Formula E team through the Genesis. It was Renault Edams, then it was Nissan Edams, and now it's back to being just Nissan. They line up on pole position. Rowland's on the right-hand side, Freins on the left, 36 laps ahead of us. Race 2 in Saudi Arabia is always the chaotic one. It's a clean start to the grid, so watch out for Cassidy on the run down to turn 1. He's furthest ahead of anyone in the World Championship, as I mentioned. They're still burning up their tyres. Here's Mitch Evans coming down now. He lines up down in 13th place on the grid for the man who hopefully will have a better race than yesterday. He kept throwing it down into turn 1. He burned up his tyres a bit much. Dennis lines up 14th on the grid. They're all in position then. Round 3 of the 10th season of ABB FIA Formula E is about to get underway. We'll have our usual start procedure, and then the lights will be going out in a predetermined sequence up to 5 seconds before the lights go out. The tension rises. The atmosphere builds up. Fingers crossed, it is going to be an awesome race. The dust beginning to settle, the smoke billowing away. I think the drivers can see the lights now. Still on green, not getting activated just yet. Hughes waiting in position. It's an awful long time, Josh, until those lights go out.
Yeah, an absolutely long time. Vern just stretching his fingers. We await the green lights to go out.
Green lights are out. We're into the start procedure. 3, 4, 5 lights. Blast off Indiria. Great start from Cassidy, as I said. Van Dorn gets a good getaway as well. And Robin Friends into the lead immediately. And round the outside, Cassidy. 3 wide into 1. Friends leads into the first corner. Van Dorn under pressure. Bird trying to go around the outside. Coming on the inside as well. Bird's down to 11th. Hughes up to 5th. On board with Hughes with the Maserati. Almost losing into the side of Johan Jaruvela. Jaruvela keeping the move, but he's gone too deep. Hughes takes the position. Bird's nearly in the wall. Bird nearly in the wall there. Coming through the turn 21. Friends leads officially on the first lap of the race. Moving further back. Terrible start from Mitch Evans. Brilliant start from Johan Jaruvela. Hughes up to 5th. Van Dorn is 4th. Friends, though, he got the lead and mastered the getaway into turn 1. Cassidy tried, as you said, Josh, 3 wide into 1.
Yep, it was 3 wide into turn 1. Jaruvela is down into 6th. Fenestras trying to get past as we go down the bobsleigh section. Single file as we come to the end. There is, I believe, Van Dorn in 4th place.
Van Dorn 4th, Vern is in 8th, as already into the pit lane is Dan Ticktum. He's had wing damage on the left-hand side, so Ticktum already in trouble. Well, the race yesterday, he was 45 seconds behind Vern, over a minute behind Jake Dennis. He's not even going to do that today, so Ticktum again already a lap down. His teammate Sergio Sete Camara having a little look on the inside of Jean-Luc Verne at turn number 1. But as we complete the first lap, Robin Friends leads here in Diriyah. Roland is in 2nd position, and the field now just starting to calm down. 1:17 though. Friends has the best getaway. Wow, what a start. Did not expect Robin to take the lead like he did. Straight up the inside. Love to get a replay of that start eventually. Who made the biggest move? Top 4, status quo. Jaruvela down to 6th, Hughes back up to 5th, so they've made a changeover as we came through. Fenestras in 7th, he started there, Vern 8th, so only one change on that opening lap inside the top 8 to swap over Hughes and Jaruvela. Further down, Bird's gained 2 places. Verline has dropped a place. He started 10th down to 11th. Gunther has lost a position as well. Here's Roland.
Something feels weird on the back. I don't know if the curb broke in 19. You need to report it.
Right, so we understand that the curb might be broken. I wonder if that's what Ticktum's run into as well to damage his front wing on the left-hand side, because Roland's now reporting that has the curb broken at turn 19. This is turn 19 now on the inside line. Can't see any drama as we see Bird under attack from Verline. No one's going for their attack modes right away. Roland's got the fastest lap of the race there, so whatever's wrong with the rear of the car, it's not affecting him that much. It's a 1:14.954 for Ollie Roland. 7/10 back to Robin Friends at the moment as they continue on the run, Josh. And already, it's what we wanted to see. A nice controlled action at the front. Here's the gaps to the leaders.
Yep, the gap from Friends to Roland is 0.699. On board with Dennis in 14th, trying to get past Evans as we go down the bobsleigh section, trying to stay with Evans. And well, Dan Ticktum, and here's a replay of the start before I get onto that, Josh.
So Friends gets a good getaway, so does Cassidy, and not a great getaway as well from Roland. So it's down to turn 1. They're going to go 3 wide. Friends immediately just launched at the inside. Roland comes across to defend. Cassidy goes, okay, I'll send him around the outside, backs out of it. Then comes Van Dorn on the inside line, taking back 4th position that he lost to Jaruvela. Hughes keeps on the inside line. There's a little bit of contact further back with... I didn't see when Ticktum did lose out. Ticktum started down in 15th. He was in a battle with Bird. Great start there, Josh, from Friends.
Yeah, an absolutely incredible start. They nearly made contact as they cross the line to complete lap 2. And Dan Ticktum, his season goes from bad to worse, can't even start lap 1 and can't even end lap 0 as it is.
That's true.
Because of the start line and finish line in these different parts of the circuit.
Right, we've got Van Dorn's taken attack mode of 2 minutes, so has Degrassi, so they've got 6 minutes left after this in their second stint. There's Bird blocking around the outside. Right, there's Ticktum with Sergio Sette Camara. Is it the teammates? Yes, it is. And he ran into the back, I believe, of one of the Porsches of Antonio Felix da Costa. So Ticktum ran into the back of da Costa while battling Sergio Sette Camara. So that was a great start from Ticktum, made up into 9th place, and then it all just fell apart, as you say, as soon as he hit the deck. Back on now with the attack. It's lap 4 of 36. Friends leads Roland by 0.4 of a second. Then it's Cassidy, Hughes. Van Dorn drops to 5th, but he had the attack mode. One more with Sasha Fenestras, who's right behind Johan Jaruvula in the Maserati SMSG, racing as they come down. The Nissan really under their power. As taking attack mode now is Oliver Roland. He goes for 2 minutes. Jake Hughes takes also 2 minutes. And does Van Dorn go back ahead? Yes, he does.
Yep, so Van Dorn back in 4th, but he's going to run out of attack mode 1 minute and 13 seconds before Hughes does. So does that mean Hughes can get past Van Dorn again if he keeps it together? Fastest lap goes to Degrassi. Let's hear from Fines.
Cassidy 1.3, we need to push.
Cassidy 1.3 back, that's the gap. So they know that it's 1.7 seconds to take an attack mode. So Friends, I think, might take a 2-minute attack mode here to try and keep ahead of Cassidy. If Cassidy does exactly the same here to cover off Roland, because the gap between them is was actually a second exactly between Roland and Cassidy. But Cassidy needs to do it now to keep second position. Friends needs to do it to keep the lead of the race. So 2 minutes now for the top 2 in this race will be incredibly crucial. Jaruvula in P6 holding off Fenestras still. The gap between them 0.5 of a second as we come across the start line. Now we ride with Johan Jaruvula on the run down towards turn 18 across the start line. Now does Friends take attack mode? Yes, he does. I thought he might. Would Cassidy follow? No. Cassidy takes the lead of the race, but does Roland get ahead of Friends? No, he doesn't. Friends comes across to defend. So that's really not worked out for Roland, but he's still going to attack here to charge. Cassidy leads onto lap 5 of this race.
Yep, we start lap 6 now into turn 1. Roland keeping on the back of Friends, but will run out of attack mode in 20 seconds and counting, will Oliver Roland, while Friends has got it for 1.5 minutes and counting.
So Jaruvala's kept off Fenestras, but don't know how he did that, to be fair. So well done to him, down in 6th position. That Maserati looking good. The rookie, of course, in just his 3rd race and his 2nd weekend of Formula E racing. He is on top dollar bill. So Roland is now out of attack mode, as is Jake Hughes, and in 5 seconds' time, so will be Antonio Felix da Costa. They're all out of the attack modes now in this race, and will continue to push as hard as they can and as more powerful as they can. Cassidy's got 1.4 seconds to Friends. Does he take attack mode? Let's listen.
Up to 1.5 seconds, team radio.
Gap behind 1.2.
And Van Dorn
change to scenario 3.
Roland takes a 6-minute attack mode, comes out side by side with Van Dorn, and Van Dorn's just going to stay ahead. Roland keeps the inside line to turn 20. Roland takes 6 minutes of attack mode, so Josh, they've taken it immediately. Roland's used it all within the first 7 laps of this race. And side by side now, we see that's Hughes trying to go around the outside of Van Dorn into 1.
Yeah, that's bold from Oliver Roland. He's trying to get up and stay up as Hughes follows Van Dorn through the start of the bobsleigh section. Down we go through turns 5, 6, and now turn 7 into turn 8.
Just trying to hold it together. Let's take a look at Fenestras. He's on the back of Jaruvula. This is through the bobsleigh section. What's he done there? Jaruvula over the bump, looked okay. Has Fenestras taken something? Through 14. What are we watching here? Fenestras... No idea what they're trying to show us. Oh, he touched the wall. Fenestras clipped the wall on the inside line at turn 13. Before the break is over 14. Now, does Cassidy take attack mode? He's got 1.8 seconds. He does, yeah, that's wise. Cassidy takes attack mode, and Friends follows with him. They both take 6 minutes. So Friends now using the last of his attack mode, but crucially, Cassidy has 6 minutes, then another 2 minutes to go ahead. So this might work out perfectly right now for Cassidy to take a victory here in Diriyah. Still Pack Racing behind them. So we've had Friends, Roland and Degrassi use all of their attack mode. 2 minutes have been used for Van Dorn, Hughes and Acosta. 4 minutes used for NATO. Everybody else, Druvela, Fenestras, Vern, Setacamera, Bird, Verline, Gunther, Evans, Dennis, Muller, De Vries, Mortara and Tinctum have 8 minutes left of attack mode. They are saving their battery, similar to how we saw yesterday with 2 different strategies of attack mode being used early in the race for several of the drivers, then a lot of them using, especially Cassidy, right at the end of the E-Prix. They were using in order to try and keep as quick as possible and as risky as possible. Don't forget, another rule of attack mode is all of it must be used before the checkered flag. If it's not, you'll get a penalty. So they have to use this attack mode, both of them, during the E-Prix. Otherwise, you face disqualification. A few of those drivers got it caught out in the first season of this system being introduced. Right now, though, it's becoming a bit possessional, Josh, here in Diriyah. Just follow me, leader, while we energy save.
Yeah, absolutely. 1.4 seconds is the gap as we go across the line from Cassidy to Friends, then Friends to Roland is 2.5, nearly 2.6 seconds as we go into turn 4 and down the bobsleigh section. But a little bit of a procession, as it normally is down the bobsleigh section, but around the other parts of the circuit.
Tinctum had stopped on the driver tracker, but he's got going again. So he'd come to a complete stop at 17.
That's just a sector, I believe, just catching up.
Cassidy's pulled out 1.8 seconds to Friends. You can see how big it is on the driver tracker, the gap between them all as they all try and close up. Everybody still separate, bar Tinctum, who's a minute behind again. Dan Tinctum, what is the point? You can't keep calling it the car when Sete Kamara is in 9th position. You just can't. As we see him move on the inside line, Sam Bird on the inside of Sergio Sete Kamara as he goes through. Bird makes a move for 9th position. Sete Kamara under attack now from Verline and Gunther. But you've got to start wondering, is it luck or is it just inexperience or just bad driving from Dan Tinctum? Wonder how long he has left in Formula E and whether or not he even make it to Sao Paulo. I don't think ERT at the moment can get another driver, otherwise I would have changed it before the season started when they were still Neo.
Try and
Cassidy Radio.
Camera to take attack mode.
Gap to Robin, 1.8. Same energy as him, according to the last readings.
So Cassidy has got the same amount of energy, 72.1. Finds on 71.7. James Barkley looking very unimpressed on the wall right now. Wonder how Evans is feeling as well in this one. Where is Mitch? Where is Evans in this race? I can't see him on the time screen. Down in 13th position. Well, Evans was angry yesterday that the team weren't listening to him and they were favouring Cassidy. And now look at it. Cassidy's leading the race and Evans down in 13th position. And Evans had a bad qualifying as well. He's where he started actually. 13th. He's at 13th. Dennis the same. He hasn't moved up from 14th. Friend stays 2nd. Van Dorn still in 4th. Fenestras still 7th. Vern is still in 8th. But Bird and DaCosta, biggest winners, up 3 places. And more drivers going through attack mode. Druvela takes 6 minutes. So does Jean-Eric Vern. And we see Norman Nato take 4 minutes. And I think DaCosta missed it. I think DaCosta went to arm and he's missed it again. He did that yesterday. And he lost his wing yesterday as well, actually, the first corner. So they needed to change it. Tuft says, I wonder if this race is going to be as big of a mess as 2022's race was, with having to bring out a crash and all as well, yeah. It's getting like that at the moment. They're all conjoined together. Cassidy's pulled out 1.8 seconds to Friends, though, so it's getting a very similar situation to yesterday. On board with Jean-Eric as he comes through the sand dune section. He's with Bird just ahead of him and they're all hitting that bump at the exit of 13 so aggressively as they're through 14, up through 15 and 16. 16's a harder corner on the inside line. Then it's a hard, long lug uphill through 17 through a right-hander that tightens up on the apex. And it's a big lunge across the start line as you're just constantly closing in. Anyone taking attack mode? Yes! Van Dorn and Fenestras. Van Dorn missed it! Van Dorn went through it and Van Dorn missed it! Van Dorn missed it. He went to activate it and now he's lost it. Van der Straat has taken 2 minutes and he's got Druvela right behind him who's got 6. And we've seen Bird on the back of Druvela as well. And Vern there too. He's taken, I believe, 6 minutes. Yep. But Van Dorn, Josh, went for it and he missed it. Second driver to do that after Da Costa earlier on. And Tictum's in the pit lane and he's back out again. Tictum's a lap down.
So Tictum entering the pit lane. I wonder if there was any repairs or if that was just a drive-through to get him out of the way of lap traffic. We will have to see. Well, Van Dorn, unfortunate. We will have to see if he goes for attack mode again this lap in 5th. I don't think he lost position. I didn't see him move down. He's still in 5th place, but especially when you're fighting up in the points, you really do not want to miss an attack mode.
The leaders are out of attack mode.
Does Van Dorn take it?
Let's have a look. Van Dorn. No, Hughes does.
Yes.
And Van Dorn does too, yeah. So they both take it. But Hughes gets out ahead of Van Dorn. So Van Dorn down in 6th. Fennestraat's now only got 38 seconds left. Jarubla's going to have him here. Bird has not taken any of his attack mode yet. And now the midfield are bunched up together. Let's take a look at Van Dorn. So this is on the previous lap. He missed the attack mode. Goes through sensor 1, sensor 2. I don't think he was right through the right sensors. He never got it. So Van Dorn missed it on the previous run around.
Yeah.
He's got it now, though.
Van Dorn has got it now. 5 minutes and 24 seconds left of it. Hughes 1 second before that. Fennestraat 5 seconds remaining in 6th. Druvela 2 minutes and 50 seconds in 7th.
Incident between Verline and Sete Kamara has been noted by the stewards. This is it. Verline up the inside and hits the front wing of Sergio Sete Kamara. So that was Verline making the move up to 10th. Sete Kamara down to 11th. Cassidy takes his final 2 minutes of attack mode and only loses 1.2 seconds to Frines, who is now right in the back of him. But Cassidy v Frines looks like him for the race.
On at lap 13, team radio for Frines.
Consuming every lap.
Okay, if it's difficult to follow, let's just be efficient. Let's be efficient and try to get some energy back.
Well, it's 61.2% of energy for Cassidy. Frines is on 60.8, so Frines is really struggling with the energy saving at the moment. It's have to regen the power to make it through the race. I think that's a slam dunk for Verline for a penalty. What do you think? He blocked Sete Kamara too much.
Yeah, and then caused damage to Sete Kamara's car, so I think that's a slam dunk for Verline. He hasn't used any attack mode yet, and he's currently in 10th chasing Fern, who has 1 minute and 40 minutes left of his 6-minute activation. Other drivers to not use any attack mode yet: Bird, Gunther, Sete Kamara, Evans, Dennis, Muller, De Vries, Mortara, and Tictum.
There's a few drivers that are having that problem now, aren't they? We're not using the full amount and only using a few seconds of it. As Cassidy's in his last 45 seconds, it's a 1 minute 10 laps, so you get a total of 1.5 laps of attack mode power. There goes on the inside line into towards the braking zone. That's Evans passing Sete Kamara. Is Dennis going to try and do the same thing with Muller behind him in the apt? No. So that's Sete Kamara down to 13th. Dennis is going to go for the turn 21 on the inside line on the right-hander and gets through. Sete Kamara's now going to be like a sinking ship as Muller going to go side by side. They give each other a little kiss and Sete Kamara shuts the door into one with the left-hander, keeps ahead. And, well, Muller might have to buy him some chocolates if he wants to do that little kiss again, because that was too sweet coming into the first corner.
Yeah, and Cassidy is now out of attack mode. He has used his last Frines, I believe has used all of it, or he may have one activation left.
Frines has used it all, so the top two now in a battle for the lead of this race. The gap between them 0.8 of a second. As we see right now, the apt of Muller now struggling. Sete Kamara is now beginning to sink. He has not taken any of his attack mode yet, but he's not got the pure race pace. The ERT seems to be a good qualifier, not a great race car, as we see already. Now he's going to be sitting duck down into turn 18. We're going to see a move from Muller into the braking zone. He's thinking about it. He's too far back. Verline takes 6 minutes of attack mode. Gunther takes 2 minutes. They get out ahead of Mitch Evans, who's struggling down in 12th position. Camera hasn't changed it quick enough. There's the fight for the lead of the race. Cassidy, who has led since lap 5, trying to hold off Freins, who led the opening 4 laps of this EPrix. This is close stuff.
This is absolutely amazing, and we've got 20 laps left of this. Hughes and Van Dorn, 1 minute and 50 seconds. Verline, 5 minutes and a half. Gunther, 1.5 minutes. Let's have a look at a replay at Dennis.
This is coming. Oh, he's hit the back. Dennis has hit the back of, I could shoot, Mitch Evans. That must have been under the previous run around. It's still going.
That's at the chicane.
Can't tell who the car ahead of him is.
It's a Gen 3 Formula E car.
It's one of them. It's one of them. It's too hard to tell from the rear back camera. We haven't got the angle down that we want it to. As we've got attack mode being taken for Jeruvala. He's taken 2 minutes of the attack mode. There he is now. And here it's going to allow Bird and Vern and Verline through. Freins is keeping up the pace with Cassidy. So much for trying to consume energy. What's the gap? Oh, he did it though. Freins on 53.1, Cassidy 53.6. There's only 0.4 of energy between them, but he wants it. Here's his radio, Freins.
Went to save energy.
Nick is also trying to underconsume.
Radio there
underconsuming.
for Robin.
So Cassidy's also trying to underconsume on energy. That's what we got from that little message. And we are seeing it being blown up on front of us right now between them because they've pulled out 3.6 seconds to Oliver Rowland. Nikki.
And it's been really interesting to see how Hughes, obviously with just 20 seconds left on his attack mode, is trying to close the gap up to Rowland just ahead of him. And it's looking tough. He's been getting closer and closer, but this really is his last opportunity to get that podium position to take Rowland.
Attack mode been taken as well now for Fenestras and for Bird and for... to further down the order, Dennis has taken it, as has in 17th position Sergio Santacamara, who's taken 2 more minutes on the board. Well, thank you, Nikki. Down there in the pit lane, so Fenestras has taken 6 minutes, Bird 6, Verline 4, so he's on 4-4, unless he's on 6-6, but he's trying to get ahead now at the same time as Sam Bird towards the first corner, just dangling between the two of them. It couldn't happen to anybody quick enough as they fly back through. There's Verline in 9th position. He wants to get up. He's our championship leader. Right now, Cassidy will take the lead of the title by around about 22 points. Correction, 23 points. He'll have the lead over Verline in 2nd position of the title, but they'll all close up to a reasonable gap. I would say at most it's a 10-point gap Cassidy has in the standings.
Yeah, currently it's quite a large gap for the end of race 3, but Max Verstappen is laughing somewhere after
Freins might try and stop that. Freins is going to have a go on the inside line towards the turn 18. He thought about it, but backed out. He couldn't get into it in the braking zone. Yeah, I agree with you there, Josh. Max Verstappen's laughing at that because by race 3, he was what? How many points ahead? No, Perez was leading off. No, hang on. Perez won race 2, didn't he, in Saudi? Yeah. Max was leading by race 3. Perez then led round 4. If I remember correctly, they were level on points going after Baku. And then it all went wrong there after that.
Yeah.
After Baku, it just went... Miami, basically. Yeah. What a surprise. Miami was the start of the letdown of the season.
The race which some people say should be on the calendar, but most people say why.
Got a sprint race there now as well, so it's double the misery over the weekend. I don't like it.
Oh, the misery.
Freins on the radio, let's listen.
Of that one at the moment, team radio for Freins.
These underconsumptions are good. Let's keep underconsuming like this.
I think it's reverse psychology right now between them. They know that Jaguar can hit their radio, and Freins just going, okay, let's just do it. He's got 4 tenths. He's got him, and look, Rowland's catching him as well, and this could be a very tasty EPrix soon. It's lap 20. Now, what's Vern done? Has he taken attack mode? Yes, he has. There he goes. Did he get it, though? That's the question.
It was very late. He's got it.
Gets out just ahead of Jeruvala.
That drops 2 positions for that because of how close they are as he heads towards the final corner and across the finish line to start his next lap, lap 20 of 36. Bird has 2 minutes of attack mode left after he finishes with his 3 minutes and 10 seconds. Verline, 2 minutes and 47 seconds. Gunther, 6 minutes. Evans, 7 minutes and 30 seconds. Dennis, 5.5 minutes, which he has got now. Muller, De Vries, Mortara have not used any attack mode at all. Sete Camera, 6 minutes left. Da Costa as well with 6 minutes, and Tictum down in 21st with 1 lap down with no attack mode used.
I think they must be planning to retire Tictum at this point because he has to use the 8 minutes at some point, but he's a lap down, not doing anything at the moment. The entire field, bar him, separated by 15 seconds, which is really close for a Formula E race as well. Now, is anyone going to take attack mode on this lap time? Yeah, no, they've all... Yes, who took it? Few drivers, actually. Fastest lap, 1:10.634 was for Bird. Now it's gone down again to Mitch Evans.
De Vries, 6 minutes.
Right, so and Sete Kamara, so they've taken it.
6 minutes.
Look at this, top 5 overtakes in this race. Bird's done 6 overtakes, Da Costa 4, Degrassi, Hughes and Verline have done 3 each, so they're right together on the track. Who says we don't get a good racing in Formula E? It's quite energetic once again. Sao Paulo in a month's time. No racing in February. Busy enough February. All kicks off again in March.
We would have had a race in February, but Hyderabad was cancelled for this season.
Yep. And doesn't look like it might be coming back as well. We understand even MotoGP's having a problem with the Argentine Grand Prix now. That might happen at Termas de Rio Hondo. Shame, I like that track, but one less MotoGP race won't be too bad in a season where they're going to break the record for like 50,000 races they've got. Side-by-side manoeuvre. Bird on the inside of Fenestras down at turn 18. Very respectful between the two. Bird's going to try and hold him on the outside, but he's left the door open now as well for Verline to squeeze ahead. Verline takes 7th position. Bird, even with 350 kilowatts per hour, can't match that Porsche when he got blocked by the Nissan of Fenestras. So Bird losing out despite having attack mode.
Yep, just further behind, Nico Muller has just taken attack mode and has let both of the Mahindras through, so he's down from 14th down to 16th with 6 minutes of attack mode. Let's have a look at the replay of the move down into the chicane.
Late from Bird. I thought he was going to smash into the side of it, but Fenestras gave it just enough, and then Verline said, "Okay, mate, I'll slip through and have a freebie."
Thanks, and Verline has just gone, "Thanks, mate."
What's happened to Bird? Has Bird taken attack? Because
Bird
he's
dropped down to 14th.
And that's way before attack mode. Bird's in trouble. Bird's in trouble. Bird must be in trouble because he's dropped down to 14th and he was in attack mode. So what's happened to... Bird's off. Bird's off somewhere.
Dropping.
Yeah, he's right.
No yellow flag.
But he's right to the back of the field, according to the driver tracker. Sam Bird in real trouble. Verline takes 2 minutes of attack mode. Gunther takes 6 minutes. Here's Sam Bird with a broken steering arm. Sam Bird is out. Broken steering. He'll come into the pit lane surely. And Sam Bird into the pits is out of the Diriyah EPrix. The 2-time winner here with Jaguar and Envision out of the second race. What's he done? Has he clipped the wall somewhere? Whistle's loud. Yeah, we get it. There's a car. You don't need to whistle. Right, what is going on? That's unfortunate. Look at that. Roland's caught up with the front. So's for Hughes. Wow. Oh, and Roland's inside a second. Hughes is there too. Van Dorn's coming to the party. It's all going to be very close here as Sam Bird retires from the Diriyah EPrix.
A 4-way battle, maybe a 5-way battle for the lead, anyone?
I don't think my voice is going to be able to cope with this, despite the fact that after this we've got the 24 hours, like directly after this. And in an hour's time we go green, a side-by-side from the back as well. That's Verline in a battle, trying to get through on Jean-Éric Vergne. He swapped to the outside. Vergne defending fantastically from Verline, who is like a dog with a bone, almost pushing the DS Penske out of turn 21. He's going for it. Little move into turn 1, and Verline's gone. Van Dorn. Verline's done it. Verline gets ahead of Vergne. And now Van Dorn! Van Dorn's in the back of Hughes! That's what I'm saying, Van Dorn's closed up, but now Van Dorn's dropped to 10th back. Something happened with Van Dorn there, because he was on the attack of Hughes in the same part. Here's a radio from Verline.
Available as well, team radio.
Yeah, look there. Look, even the world feed's picked up on it. Van Dorn was right through on Hughes, and now he's backed off to the back. So Hughes now kept up to Roland. Here's Verline.
Left at his disposal.
Need to make it this lap, 1 minute 20. He will defend, be prepared, he will defend.
Verline needs to get ahead of Fenestras this lap, so he needs to close up. Now Frien's under attack from Roland. Hughes now again defending from Van Dorn. As we see, Frien's can he get a move on the inside? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cars in a battle for the Diriyah EPrix second race. Big lockup from one of the Maseratis, and it's straight off. And that was Jeruvala, who goes straight on at 19, loses out to Evans, loses out to Dennis, comes out side by side with De Vries, and then through goes Muller in between the two of them. And we see De Vries just now trying to catch back up. He's just taken 2 minutes. Well, he had to take mode to 2 minutes. Wow.
Yeah, so Jeruvala locking up at turn 18 at this. Kane drops down to 13th. Gunther up to 9th. His teammate with 3 minutes of attack mode remaining. We're focusing on the Evans versus Dennis battle. What's going on at the front? Half a second. The gap between Cassidy and Shrines. A second is the gap from Cassidy to Roland.
Evans and Dennis doing battle like they did yesterday, this time over 10th position on the last World Championship point. Here's the battle at the front there with Friens and Roland down towards that turn 18. Friens looking in his mirrors at the same, Roland doing the same. So was Van Dorn and Hughes, all just trying to make sure that they don't get jumped upon. There is Sam Bird with the bleach blonde hair. The hair not matching the beard as one of the apps goes side by side. Mortar takes a take mode. Muller gets out of Jeruvala almost in the wall there as De Vries finds a way back through and has to cut across. So Mortara takes 6 minutes. Muller has another 60 seconds left of attack mode. De Vries down to 14th place, and that's De Grassi trying to get now ahead of Jeruvala in 15th and 16th. So this, go on.
It's getting up to being a good race. NATO 32%, Ticton 33%, while everyone at the front, Cassidy Friens 29%, Roland, Hughes, Van Dorn 30%.
Thank you, by the way, to Gavin. He says, look after that voice, Josh Murray Walker will be impressed. Thank you very much for that. That means a lot. That's going to give me inspiring for 24 hours. So right now, the gap is 4 tenths. Friens ahead of Cassidy. 0.489. You can see it on the timing screens on the watch along. If you're watching us on Twitch and YouTube, or if you're listening to us on the radio, you can see where we are. We're on the battle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 cars. It's down to Gunther in ninth. We've got a yellow flag at turn 17. Someone's off the track. It's car 18, and it's Johan Jeruvala for a second time today. Is off at turn 17. This time it looks like the brakes have completely failed, and Jeruvala is out of the race. Will we need a full course yellow or a safety car to get that out of the way? I would say it's in a dangerous zone, and there's no real escape mode. I'd say a full course yellow personally over safety car, because it's out of the way, but that needs to be dealt with.
Yeah, I'm expecting a full course yellow. I'm looking at it. Josh, here's the replay.
Now, De Grassi's already got a broken wing. He's going to come across here, and it's just block up.
De Grassi close behind.
No regen, I have a failure.
No regen, failure.
On the brakes.
No regen at all.
So it was no regen of energy. Well, the field's coming up to that part of the track now. It's still only a local yellow. No sign of the full course. And I hope they haven't put marshals out there, because we've already seen with Alexander Lynn a couple of years ago, you can end up right down to the bottom there in a monster accident. No overtaking, though, crucially, into this part of the track. So they're all single file as we look at one of the Maserati's engineers' backs. Can we get back to the racing? Here we go. Still only a local yellow. Dennis is ahead of Evans. They've overtaken. So Dennis gets ahead for 10th position. Lap 28 of 36. 238.8 kilometers an hour is the top speed down that back straight. Why isn't there a full course yellow? They've got time now to try and get out of the way, but Tictum's coming through. And I wouldn't really trust myself standing in front of Dan Tictum.
Well, I mean, you've got a point, Josh. Dan Tickton
I mean,
does have a history, still a local yellow currently. There's Sandberg.
Yeah, I mean, Dan Tickton does have a history, as you say, of not noticing stationary objects and driving right into them. But still, I think that's why he's got the nickname of Dick Tantrum, of course. But anyway, we digress, because we've got 4 tenths between them. But now the only overtaking zone on this entire track is now blocked by a yellow flag. Why we don't have... It's gone green. They've managed to recover it. Oh, brilliant work. They've pushed it behind the barrier. So we are now green flag for the remainder of the race down at that part of the circuit. Well done to the marshals.
Hopefully we don't have any more incidents as we go to one of the other overtaking points up towards turn 1. We've had a couple of good overtakes down there, but you have to be really close to get an overtake down into turn 1.
Well, another factor that we've got to talk about here is that Cassidy's now regenerating energy, and that's why the field is bunched back up together. But we've got Cassidy, Frines, Roland, Hughes, Van Dorn. It's literally everybody now. I'm trying to work out. Is everyone down to Verline, maybe down to Gunther, but he's dropped back a second or two. But there is an intense amount of people that are closed up. We are going to be in for a fight and a half at the end of this Diriyah EPrix. No added laps either. We haven't had a safety car. We haven't had a full course yellow. They will only have this time. Here's Cassidy.
Coming through 16 and 17.
I can't underconsume, so I'm going to die.
Bit dramatic from Cassidy, saying that he can't underconsume or he's going to die. But that's about power as well. Frines has to defend from Roland, has a cheeky look on the inside line. Into turn 18, Frines is right in the back of Cassidy. Basically, who blinks first is what we're watching. It's like in Portland. Nobody wants to lead this race. Everybody wants to consume energy. Just regen energy. Don't overconsume, underconsume. It's like being on Weight Watchers. Just little sips and mark it down every single second, because you need to know every bit of energy is crucial to the goal of winning this EPrix.
Yep, this could end up as the last person to not hit 0% in the top 10 gets the win. Who will it be? Cassidy is 18.8, 19%. Frines, 19%. Roland, 19.5.
Roland's going to have a little look on Frines as well. You can almost sense it coming, can't you? It's like playing the Jaws music. Forget that. We need Raiders of the Lost Ark, because anything can happen in the next 6 laps of this fantastic Diriyah EPrix, which is really giving us what Formula E is all about. Roland now on the radio.
Roland again looking for that inside line team radio.
Take 0 risk.
Wow, you're in a podium position.
If I have a chance, I go.
Roland being told you have a podium position, take 0 risk, and then he says, well, I have a chance. I have a chance. We saw what happened to Evans yesterday, Josh, when he had a chance as well, and sent it to the Neversphere.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't want to do that, but we're on lap 31 of 36. The time is ticking down around 5 minutes, 6 minutes. If we keep going at this pace left of this race.
Just got to keep it. It's like Finding Dory, just keep swimming. Down through the braking zones. There's Roland, right in the back of Frines. The top 3 are so close together that you could literally almost forget that they're one car and they're just zooming past you really fast. It's that quick. The Doppler effect very much in motion as they come out of turn 17. Down the back straight away. Anyone going to fancy a look? Hughes isn't too far back from this little party either. He could play a factor in the Neon McLaren and take their first and his first win in ABB Formula E. Cassidy's on for another win. Frines on for a win. Roland on for a win. Van Dorn on for a win. He had nothing last year. The Season 8 champion. Can he do anything about it as they come through? Just having a little bit of drama as they fly back into turn 1. Lap 32 of 36. Everyone playing the regen game. Down through the sand dune section. One more time. Over to you.
Yep, and as Alistair Griffin said, just drive. As we're on lap 32 of 36. Just a handful of laps left of this race. How much attack mode has Dan Tickton used?
He hasn't used any, according to my monitor.
Something tells me there's going to be a problem with the stewards later on in this race.
Yeah, but both ERTs, 18th and 19th. I don't think Tictum cares at the moment, but he'll claim, well, I had another lap to do. I never got to do it. Here comes Roland on the inside line, and France has to go defensive, and everybody else sort of jerks out of a reaction into turn one. They all sort of look to the inside to try and make a move. It's not going to work. How you think it does? Cassidy, Frines, and Roland. 1, 2, 3 in the Dewey Repris, and then 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, all right behind them. So tight now, this race. That 33 of 36. 4 laps to go. You count the lap you're on, remember. So 4 remaining in Diriyah. Look at that, Cassidy, 14 podiums, had 5 wins. Frines, 2 wins. Roland, only 1 win in Formula E. Are they going to take their 6th, 3rd, or 2nd win? Roland's led 69 laps. Frines has led 92. Cassidy, 160. It's Cassidy's 50th EPrix, the same as Jake Dennis. Both of them in their 50th start. Dennis with a championship and 6 wins. Cassidy, 5 wins and 2nd in the title last year. Can he have anything as we come out of turn 17 once more? And then down to 18. Is Roland close enough? He thinks about a move. He's just getting out of the toe of Frines. But it's all going to come down, I think, Josh, to the last 2 laps for 35 and 36.
Yep, the last 2 laps are going to be absolutely chaotic. We're on board with Van Dorn, who is in 5th position. Fenestraz just behind him, trying to get past, followed by Verline, Vern, and Gunther. And there's the confirmation, as we thought it would be, and as we knew it. No added laps, so we are going to the 36 laps distance because there has been no safety car.
Roland's right on the back. He's fighting for control as Cassidy has a big slide over the curbs. That brings the gap down to 0.4 of a second between him and Frines as they come through the sand dune section. Tictum could play a little factor in this, you know. He's at turn 17. I wonder if they might bring him through the pit lane again just to keep him out of harm's way, because he does not want to be a factor in this race. The car already looks to be disqualified, not taking the attack modes that we've seen on the monitor anyway, up here in the commentary box. Cassidy will win the race and take the lead of the title. As Roland so close to the back. Frines was twitching coming out of turn 17, and now I think this is it for Roland. This is going to be the opportunity. He looks to the inside line. I would have sent it. He was close enough in the braking zone. Frines takes the apex nicely, and they're just all closing up together. It all goes down to Dennis in 10th position. They're all together on the racetrack. This is insane. Yesterday was the largest winning margin in Formula E. Today it's going to be the shortest.
Yep, and Tictum has gone through the pit lane, so I'm guessing he has been commanded by the stewards. He has pulled into his pit box, though. I did just see in the background.
Right, so he's out. That's because he hasn't done attack mode. That's Tictum out of the race then again. Miserable weekend for him. Miserable for Dan Tictum. Seta Kamara down to 18th as well. That's a low end to what was a great race yesterday with into the semi-final, started 3rd or 4th in the race and then finished 9th with 2 points. It was good for the ERT team, who of course take over from Neo 333. It's going to be a last lap crescendo. If anything's going to happen, it's going to happen in the next 2 minutes, everyone. That's how long's left in this EPrix as we come down towards turn 18 for the penultimate time. Frines is right there. He's closed up the gap to Cassidy. I think we're watching a procession. I don't think anything's going to happen. I really don't. A last lap move in Formula E. It's very rare it happens. Yellow flag at turn 17. Is that caused by NATO? Yeah, he's gone straight on. NATO missed the braking zone. Final lap then of the Dewey Repris. It's lap 36 off at 36. NATO carries on. Hasn't come into the pit lane. Gap 5 tenths now between Cassidy and Frines. They've put the burners on. They've got enough energy to make it to the end. I think they've under-consumed a bit too much. I think this is going to be a 6th career win for Nick Cassidy in his 50th EPrix start.
Lassie was only on 1% of energy, along with Mortara and Muller.
And Fenestraz
as well.
So they were pushing and lost out. Commanding race from Cassidy.
And the top 3 are pushing because they're down to 1%. and 2% as they regen.
So they haven't done it. They've just gone pedal to the metal. Look at that, they're burning through energy. They're going to have to cancellate it, otherwise they're not going to have enough. They hit 1% coming into the braking zone. Well, Frying slipped.
The grassy point fall.
Well, it was Frying who led the opening 4 laps, but Cassidy led from lap 5. It's his 50th EPrix start. Nick Cassidy wins for the 6th time in ABB Formula E and wins for Jaguar. After being 3rd in the opening 2 races, he does victory in race 3 and takes the lead in the Drivers' Championship going into the month break. Frying's a valiant effort finishes 2nd, Roland in 3rd. And let's hear from the race winner.
You absolute beauty! Yeah! Nice one! Nice one! Yes! Yes!
Cassidy a winner, and the championship lead belongs to him. Let's hear from him with Karun.
There, brilliantly managed. You were quick when you needed to be early on, and then were you nervous later when the pack closed up?
Hey, Karun. Yeah, I was, man. I was. I saw how fast they were catching, and I thought they were going to get us. But what a job by the team. Well done.
Fantastic start to your life at Jaguar Racing. 2 third places, and now the win.
Yeah, since Portland, man, I've had such a good run. I'm so lucky with the position that I'm in, and all the people supporting me. So I'm just very, very fortunate right now. I'm waiting for a bad day, but at the moment I'm gonna enjoy it.
Well done. Amazing job from Nick Cassidy. As you rightly said there, Karun, 2 podiums at the start of this one, 2 third places. The top set was only a matter of when and not if it was going to come. An amazing start to life for Jaguar.
Absolutely, and his 50th Formula E race too. Another win, yeah, 6 wins. Very impressive what he's been able to do. And the car that finished 2nd was the car that he vacated this year to join Jaguar.
Absolutely. Well, Nick Cassidy then takes top honours. We'll be back with all the reaction and all the analysis in just a few moments' time here in Diriyah. It is all going to kick off, I'm sure, as Nick Cassidy celebrates his first win of 2024.
Absolutely, and we'll be with it all throughout with the reaction in just a few moments' time. Let's check in then with the provisional race results. Nick Cassidy victorious, followed by Robin Fryns in 2nd. Oliver Rowland finishes 3rd. Jake Hughes is 4th. Stoffel Van Dorn takes 5th. Sasha Fenestraz in 6th. Double points for Nissan, not bad at all. Verline fights back for 7th place. Vern is 8th. Gunther 9th. And Jake Dennis takes 10th position as well for Andretti. So that's a 9th, a win, and a 10th. Not the best opening season for him, is it? Very up and down for the Season 9 champion. Outside the points, though, Dennis did get a 10th position. So, actually, he's scored the same amount of points across with the finishing positions of the season as well. So, not too bad for him, of course. Evans outside the points for the 2nd, Jaguar in 11th. The team, yesterday, he was very annoyed at the mat now, and his teammates just taken a win. It's his 3rd race with them, so not great for Evans there for ego or emotional support. Mortar finishing 12th, Muller 13th, Da Costa 14th, De Vries in 15th, Nato 16th, Sete Kamara 17th, De Grassi 18th. Out of the race was Tictum, Jeruvala and Sam Bird retiring. There are 3 DNFs, so 18 finishes, and of course Sebastian Buemi never took part. Well, Josh, what did you make of the Diriyah EPrix, the 2nd race? And we've been with us across the weekend, of course, in the pit lane for race 1. Not a bad race run, I thought. It was quite good.
Yeah, what a good race. Definitely not the best we've had, but it was definitely a good race here in Diriyah in Saudi Arabia. Anyway, Cassidy, well done to him, and it a 9 car fight at one point for the lead. I don't remember the last time we saw that, so cars get ready
Portland, probably.
to come up onto the podium.
It was probably back at Portland. Has to be back at Portland. Yeah. Anyway, let's cross over back to Tom and Dario and Karun.
To the stage, that platform will rise up, and a very unique experience we have for the podium here, where the cars are actually brought onto the stage in front of the crowd here in Riyadh. Just to the left of the picture there, you can see Robin Fryns. And there is Oliver Rowland as well. Pole position and a podium. After half a year out of Formula E, from splitting with Mahindra, I think he'll be pretty pleased with that. There's Neon McLaren's Jake Hughes as well. 4th place for him, great results. As the drivers begin the ascension up the stage to the podium. And it is Nick Cassidy with his first win of the 2024 season. He takes top honours here in Diriyah. Commanding from Cassidy as he celebrates, goes over to congratulate Robin Freins. Freins really kept the pressure on, and I have to say as well, soaked it right up from Oliver Rowland behind also. Really tricky position for them all to have been in behind Nick Cassidy, where they're sort of attacking and defending, trying to watch their mirrors on as well. But a perfect start to life at Jaguar for Cassidy. 2 podiums in the first 2 races, 1 in Mexico for 3rd, 1 yesterday with 3rd as well in Diriyah. And then the top step of the podium just 1 day later for the Kiwi. I think that his 6th victory, ties with Jake Dennis in that number. Oliver Rowland back on the box as well. He'll be pretty delighted with that. Here are the crowd in Riyadh, all celebrating. I have to say, it's been a really great atmosphere here this weekend, Dario.
Absolutely right, and this podium certainly breeds that too. It is a massive podium, and the crowd got into it again last night, and really, yeah, I think it was a good race, wasn't it? It was, nobody could gain that advantage, but I think the crowd really enjoyed it. Look at that crowd. It might have something to do with the concert afterwards as well. The Backstreet Boys playing, is it?
I think it is,
Go
yeah.
to that, Tom?
Well, I do want it that way, Dario, so looking forward to a bit of the Backstreet Boys tonight. Hopefully we don't miss our flight for that, though.
You know what's worrying for the other drivers in the championship? It's that man, Nick Cassidy. He knows how to win championships. You watch what he did in Japan. He's the championship winning machine.
What might have been for this man as well, Jehan Darubala. Disappointment for him to ended up retiring from that race after a really strong qualifying.
Yeah, but he was in the fight tonight, wasn't he? He learned so much, and he'll go back now, jump on the simulator at Maserati. He will learn, use what he's learned, and that'll put him in much better stead.
Yeah, absolutely right. Well, let's go down to Nicky, who is with our winner of the Diriyah EPrix, Nick Cassidy. What a drive from the Kiwi.
Nick Cassidy, unbelievable. What a race. Your first win this season and your first win for Jaguar TCS. What does this mean to you?
Yeah, thank you. Woo! This is awesome. I mean, it's such a dream start. I've got an amazing car. I'm so privileged, but this too, I want it that way.
Does this race win mean more to you now than the others in the past?
No, everyone's special. It's just been a dream start. I'm waiting for a bad day. It's going to come, but for now, we ride. We ride.
You took advantage at the start. You took advantage of the attack mode strategy. It just all played into your hands.
Yeah. I thought I went too hard, but these guys, Jaguar TCS Racing, gave me an amazing car, and I'm super lucky.
Excellent. Huge congratulations. Enjoy the celebrations. Nick Cassidy!
Well, Backstreet's back all right for Nick Cassidy as he takes top honours here in Saudi Arabia. This was the race from his perspective. Tried to challenge for the lead with a risky move on the outside into the first corner. Didn't quite pay off, slotted himself into 3rd place. Got himself, though, into the lead once Freins was taking attack mode. That's where he would eventually stay, despite the unrelenting pressure behind on the checkered flag.
Podium for Envision. First of all, talk us through the start of that race, because you really maximised it.
Yeah, the start was really good. The highlight of my race for sure. I was leading, so I thought nice and comfortable. But then I was fighting with Nick the whole way, and we were pulling away. We were almost killing each other, but Nick did a very good job. I secured P2. It's good points. Hopefully, I just want to have one step forward for the next race.
Is this a bit of a turning point for you, the team, and the performance of the car?
Yeah, I was a bit struggling at the beginning of the season. I got to learn the car a bit more. Obviously, Nick drove the whole year with this car last year, so still some steps to be made, but I will get there.
Good. Well, congratulations. Thanks very much. Robin Freins.
Robin Freins back on to the podium. Great job from the Dutchman. That's his first podium since New York 2022. A race which also was won by Nick Cassidy, believe it or not. He went for the lunge for the lead for the first corner. Once the attack modes worked out, Cassidy got himself in front. Eventually, it would be second place despite hounding Cassidy to the checkered flag. Very well deserved and very welcomed return to the podium. Sebastian Buemi, of course, not making the start of that race, but still congratulating his teammate. Considering the fact that it's been a challenging weekend for Envision, that'll be a good crumb of comfort for him to take. Let's hear from the man who finished in third place, Oliver Rowland.
Wow, Oliver Rowland, huge congratulations. Congratulations to your teammate, Sasha Fenestras as well, a P3 and P6 for Nissan.
Yeah, absolutely. I think yesterday was a bit disappointing for us, but today we regrouped and we did an excellent job this morning. We were able to get the pole. Slightly disappointed, you know, the start was a lot of wheel spin and Robbie managed to get me, but our chance today was to control the race if we wanted to win, but we didn't manage to do that. But still a great result for the team, lots of points, and we'll take this confidence into the next one.
Excellent. Can you build on this from the momentum going into Sao Paulo?
Absolutely, you know, I came back to Nissan with the target of winning, so we know it's a long road, but we'll keep pushing, and I think the step we made today, and also just the potential over the first two races has been very good, so I'm happy.
Brilliant. Thanks very much. Oliver Rowland.
Oliver Rowland, slightly disappointed with third place there. It's interesting how your expectations do alter given the circumstances, but starting from pole position, a little bit too much wheel spin away from the lights. Freins was able to get through on the inside line. Cassidy went for that move on the outside. Slotted into second, did the Barnsley boy. And then we wondered whether he might be able to attack. But he came under attack from Cassidy in the end, who got himself ahead. And third was the best that Rowland could muster. Actually close behind there as well to the checkered flag, with Fenestras just getting the better of Pascal Wehrlein. It's now time for the podium celebrations. General Manager of Jaguar TCS Racing, Gary Eckerold, is the team representative. He makes his way on to the rostrum. Great job for Jaguar. And great to see James Barclay smiling once again as Gary Eckerold stands on the podium. There is James Barclay. A grin as wide as the circuit here in Diriyah. Now time for the podium boys to make their way onto the steps. First up, Oliver Rowland. Great job from Oliver, back on to the podium for the first time since Seoul 2022. And Nissan back on the box for the first time since Rome 2023 as well. A return to the rostrum also for Robin Freins for the first time since New York in 2022. Back with Envision Racing this year and back on the box as well. Second place it is.
Cassidy then will be victorious here in ABB FIA Formula E's second race in Diriyah, the third round of the season. Absolutely amazing. You can see Alexa Rendell in the background doing the podium ceremony. She always does brilliantly. But it's Cassidy in his 50th EPrix who is victorious. And we will hear the national anthem of New Zealand, followed by the national anthem of Great Britain.
Grinning from ear to ear on the flight back home after this one. Now time for the national anthems.
The winning driver from New Zealand.
The New Zealand national anthem plays out for Mitch Evans. Now time for the British national anthem for Jaguar TCS Racing.
The winning team from Great Britain.
Absolutely spectacular racing here in Diriyah. Wow, we've got a month break. Why? It's just got good again. Oh well, we'll have to wait and see when we go Sao Paulo in Brazil. We'll be live for all of the action as we get the Constructors' Trophy, the Team's Trophy to Jaguar TCS, the first run of them this weekend, and this season in Season 10 takes the top honours. Fantastically done as well. Next up, the winning team will now be taken over to the winning driver. Third, second and first in those orders will be presented as we get Oliver Rowland in third place here in Diriyah. Great job from him today. Yes, it was pole, but down to third again. We'll have those changed over soon. Great job there for Nissan, the rebrand. Wonderful livery on there too. Second place to Robin Frines. It could so close have been another win, but we'll have to wait for a third victory from the Dutchman in the future. And then it'll be our race winner of Cassidy as well. He'll take the top honours. Josh T, just quickly coming to you as well. A month break before Diriyah. Are you expecting there to be more drama before in that gap, or when we get to Sao Paulo?
Yeah, there may be some more drama. We'll have to see what happens with Dan Tickton. Depending on how he does next time out in Sao Paulo. Then after Sao Paulo, we are on to Tokyo and Japan in the centre of Tokyo.
JB Motorsports Podcast is the place to be for all of it. We'll have the wrap up from the Rolex 24 and the two races here in Diriyah next week. We were going to put out a preview, but there was no real point. We've got two different shows previewing the Formula E stuff, so we put out the review show. Cassidy wins in Diriyah, and now it's time for the champagne! And away we go in Formula E. The non-alcoholic champagne flies here in Saudi Arabia. Formula E does 3 races in 2 weeks and now takes a month's break before Sao Paulo for round 4 of the 10th season. Cassidy leads the title after a domination in race 3. But one thing's for certain, 3 very different races, 3 very different winners. The championship is wide open. We're going to wrap up our coverage now here on JB Motorsports because we've got to start prepping for the Rolex 24 in 20 minutes. We're on here for that. So Josh T, closing thoughts from this race?
Yeah, it was a good race. It was a bit procession-like in the middle of the race, but then it came to be an absolutely brilliant end of the race. It was a bit procession-like, but we had so many cars with a possible option to win.
Thanks, Josh. Thanks to Jess as well for her company yesterday. Thanks to all of you at home. Next up here on JB Motorsports on Twitch and YouTube, it's the 24 hours at Daytona. Here we go, folks. We'll see you shortly. But from Formula E, we'll see you in a month's time when we go racing in Sao Paulo, Brazil. Take care. Bye-bye.